Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioner meeting for December 9th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing we have on our agenda, our approval of our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any other additions or corrections?
No.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County held on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, November 25th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. This being time set aside, I do see the applicants in the room. If you would go ahead and come on down. We will have a public hearing. Would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination regarding a proposed 14.5 acre single lot development and rezoning application submitted by GCU LLC agent Jessamin Joanne Goode on property located at 10420 Highway 491, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 67.22 acres more or less, located east of Highway 491 south of Road L, situated in Section 22, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the planning office's online services at https://montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the planning department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 17th day of November 2025, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, November 26th, 2025.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Okay, Ms. Sherry Jane, would you give us an overview of this, please?
Yes, Joanne Goode is going to be selling 14.5 acres to IFA, excuse me, to IFA to increase their properties to do a fertilizer plant and other businesses to offset the load from the property on the other side of the highway. P&Z recommended unanimously for approval. CDOT has approved for IFA to have an access right there. There's always been an access there, but it hasn't been permitted through CDOT. And planning recommends that the zoning to be consistent with the IFA property on the west side of the highway to be zoned the same, light industrial.
Okay, pretty straightforward. I mean, all the
Yes.
questions are answered there. CDOT's probably the biggest question,
Yes.
and that one's, if they're good and the application's already in, it's
And
pretty
they've already
straight-
approved it,
pretty straightforward.
yes.
Question?
You answered all my questions.
All right. Would you, either one of you, like to add anything before I open this up for public comment? No? All right. Well, at this point in time, I would open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the application, please come forward to the podium. State your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this, and I will bring this back to the board. Gentlemen, do you have any questions at all?
No, I appreciate how well it got cleaned up, to tell you the truth.
Me too.
Yes, you did.
Stephen, do you have any questions, problems, concerns?
I don't have any questions or problems. Just for the record, I would just add that right now this parcel is zoned agricultural residential. And so the proposal here is to create this single lot development that's on the screen, and the proposed zoning would be light industrial. So it is a change in zoning. In the packet, there is another map that shows the surrounding zoning. I think it's on page 10 of the packet that I have. And so like Jane mentioned, there are some other light industrial zone parcels in that area, including right across the street there. And then it's also in that overlay zone. So just to add some of that into the record here for our discussion.
Right, and the remainder of the property will stay the agriculture, is what I read. So the only thing that's changing is the light industrial for the 14 acres. Okay,
Correct.
well, if you have nothing else, then I will go ahead and
That's fine.
ask for a
I
motion.
don't have any problem. You good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I move to approve this proposed 14.5 acre single lot development and rezoning application submitted by GCU LLC, agent Jessamin Joanne Goode, on property located at 10-420 Highway 491, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept a proposed 14.5 acre single lot development and rezoning application submitted by GCU LLC, agent Jessamin Joanne Goode, on property located at 10-420 Highway 491, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there you go. You have been approved and accepted.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. And I will close this public hearing.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. Okay.
That's it for me?
That's it for you. That's it.
That's it.
Well,
Unless you have questions.
I have no questions at this point. All right, thank you. Other than, why are we on crutches?
I have ACL removal.
Okay. Well, hobble along.
Yeah, be careful.
All right. Now we have our years of service recognition, and we have a lot of people in the room. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 years with the county. At this present time, I'd like to bring the 5-year personnel down. If you could come down here, gather around this, because our PIO would like to have a picture of it, and that way we can get it posted. We have Mr. Disaster, James Spratland, come on down. Our emergency management. Mallory Bain, Tyler McKinney, Andrew Dalton, Daniel Ruiz, Peter Schmalz, Mark West, Linda Hill, Melissa Markhart, Nina Dotala, hopefully I said that right, Cassandra Robinson, Fawn Allen.
That one's kind of old for a short time, Randy.
Yeah, come on down in front of the middle,
We'll stand up.
and I just want to say that, I have to say this is kind of a joke, but Mr. Spratland, he's on his 5th career, so that's why he's only got 5 years of service with the county. So it's actually a very, very big milestone for Mr. Spratland. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Going down there.
Yeah. Which way? Let's go that way. Squish up. Thank you all very much. Yeah, we are.
Yep. I'll get to the, okay, 10 years. Catherine Harris, Courtney Sykes, Ellen Black, Steve Nowlin, Phaedra Grubbs, George Devers, Gary Nelson, Oliver Milliken, Gary Hampton, and Heath Higgins.
Right.
That's 10 years. Come on down and we'll get another picture.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right, next year are 15 years. Laurel Schaefer, Junior Hurst, Ryan Hancock, and Clarissa Osborne. Come on down. Yeah, it'll get thinner.
I don't know, the DA people, you know, might wanna ask me some questions. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to 20 years. Kim Purcell, Tommy Enders, Brenda Jarman, and Tyson Cox. Come on down, 20 years of service.
Oh, you guys have put up with me 20 years. You and me, huh?
All right, in 25 years, we have no 30 years this year, but we have Lori Higgins. I don't see her. And Chris Veach. I do see her. Come on down. 25 years of service with Montezuma County, guys.
Man, it just kept dwindling.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any deletions, additions, or changes to the agenda? Did anybody see? Nope.
No.
Okay. Very good, then we'll go on. Public comment. Do I have any public comment today? We do have one, so the rules of decorum will be strictly enforced. Outbursts and interruptions from any person in the hearing room, including shouting, clapping, booing, laughing, or other reactions to the proceedings, are prohibited. Any comments from the public shall be only made to the persons who are residents of Montezuma County and who have been recognized by the chair and who are speaking into the microphone, and only after they have stated their name and address for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to comment. No speaker may yield their time to others, and comments shall be made to the board. No comments or questions shall be directed to staff or any other member of the public. And with that, the chair recognizes Alan Mays.
Yes, good morning. Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21, Lewis, Colorado. Almost feel like I have to give some comment just because you guys are here. You went to CCI this last week, and I hope your reports will show that very clearly, how well those things went. And I know with CCI, there's a lot of counties there, different ideas of what maybe can happen here in Montezuma to make our life better here for citizens. We know, Montezuma County residents know, that the rural-urban divide exists. And so we know that Montezuma County being very rural, we want to know that we're being heard and listened to. So I appreciate you guys going to, the commissioners going to those meetings and hopefully standing up for rural Colorado. One of the big things is I'm worried about 2026 is a big year. Our governor has the whole year to do some things, and we the citizens of Montezuma County, really can't take any more fees that are put up on us by the departments. And I'm talking about the Colorado departments, the people that aren't elected, not our legislators, but those departments. CDPHE is the big one that comes to mind always. And so any kind of fees that are being suggested, I strongly hope that you three commissioners, still being fully invested for Montezuma County, keep after those folks for that. And that's really all I have to comment on. The administrative state in our state is big, but it can be here in the county as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, with that, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and I will move right along. Next is our consent agenda. Did you have anything that you need to pull off or that we did not discuss yesterday in our workshop? Okay,
No.
then I would accept a motion.
So moved, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented with the 4 bullet items that were discussed yesterday in our workshop. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
She's on her way.
Okay, I was looking for her. I didn't
She's on
see
her
her.
way.
Okay. Well, we can go to transfer orders. We have a few. Mr. Dobry, come on down. Actually, we have 3.
Good
Good morning.
Yeah, we have 3 transfer orders. This is kind of year-end cleanup, making sure that everything's in the right funds. The first order is order number 12. That is the transfer of $346,524.51 from the general fund to the capital fund. That is moving funds, grant funds that were for the Paths Mesa Verde project, and then for the generator grant, moving those into the correct fund, which is the capital fund.
Okay, question?
No.
Okay.
You have
Go
that,
ahead.
Gerald?
I move to approve order number 12-2025, transfer of $346,524.51 from the general fund to the capital fund.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept order transfer number 12, 2025, the transfer of $346,524.51 from the general fund to the capital fund to move 207-161.12 of Paths Mesa Verde grant funds and 139 363.39 of the generator grants funds to correct the fund. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next.
Transfer Order 13, 2025 is the transfer of $10,924.42 from the clerk's cash fund to the general fund, which is moving ERTB grant funds to the correct fund.
Go ahead.
I move to approve order number 13-2025, transfer of $10,924.42 from the clerk's cash fund to the general fund and move ERTB grant funds to the correct fund.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept transfer order number 13, 2025, the transfer of $10,924.42 from the clerk's cash, the general fund, and move ERTB grant funds to correct the fund. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next.
And then order number 14, 2025 is the transfer of $205,280 from the Conservation Trust Fund to the general fund for the operation of the county fairgrounds from December 28th, 2024 through November 30th of 2025. Those are actual expenses.
Okay.
I move to approve order number 14, 2025, transfer of $205,280 from the Conservation Trust Fund to the general fund for the operation of the county fairgrounds from December 28th, 2024 through November 30th, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept order number 14, 2025, the transfer of $205,280 from CTF to the general fund for the operation of the county fairgrounds from December 28th, 24 through November 30th, 25. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
That's all I have. Thank
there
you
you
very
go.
much, Commissioners.
End of the year cleanup is all done.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Robert. Okay, I did see Jerry come into the room, so we have a liquor license renewal. Good morning.
Morning.
Today I have one for Pleasant View Liquors LLC liquor license renewal located at 26060 Highway 491 in Pleasant View. I got the letter from the sheriff and there has been no violations at this establishment.
I would so move we approve the retail liquor license renewal application for Pleasant View Liquors, doing business as Pleasant View Liquor LLC at 26060 Highway 491 in Pleasant View.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept this retail liquor license renewal application for Pleasant View Liquors LLC located at 26060 Highway 491, Pleasant View, Colorado. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. All right. Mr. Tarnowski, is there any need for an executive session today?
We do not have a need for an executive session today, Commissioners.
Okay, well then I'll go to the county attorney's report. And before you even start, I have a question to ask you from the question I was presented with last night at the Dolores meeting. An update for Ironwood. Where do we stand? Where are we at? Kind of an update for everybody out there that's listening.
Yeah, I would say we're at a bit of a standstill currently with the Ironwood property. In fact, I just had a call earlier, I guess it was just yesterday morning, with our counterpart at the AG's office, Shelley Hickerson, about kind of where we're at. And I think next week I'm going to ask for an executive session with the board to kind of talk about what our options might be at this time, as far as, you know, providing legal advice. But I want to hear a little bit more from where the Attorney General's office stands on that, because there's really not been a lot of change at the site as far as we can tell over the last couple of months, and there was some talk about a possible sale that there was never any more information about. So as far as I know, the property's not sold. What Shelley and I discussed was kind of taking stock of the situation, given the kind of the lack of developments on that front, and what are some different ways we may be able to move forwards. And I would just like to have a better understanding of where the AG's office is before I talk to the board about what our options are.
So I have a follow-up question then, because this has been going on now for what, 3.5 years, Ken? 3.5 years, approximately.
I mean, it was just starting when I came on,
So it's been longer than that then.
then 5 years.
So where do we stand with fines? Because the fines are still accumulating. Where, and I realize that they're split between CDPHE and the county, but now collecting is gonna be something totally different, but actually, where are we at? Because $10,000 a day is a lot of money in fines.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I believe both the county and CDPHE have something to the tune of $1 million in fines reduced to judgment. That has now been some time ago. And so one option that might be available to the board would be asking the court to reduce more fines to judgment that may have accrued. That is something I think we should talk about in executive session, because there are some different legal issues related to that issue. But there's not been any change in the fines that have been reduced to judgment for many months now. And there's some different reasons for that I think I would want to talk to the board about in executive session. And in these kind of proceedings, I mean, partially at least, the point of the fines is really to force action to avoid the imposing of the fines. So obviously here in this case, that has not been as successful maybe as we would have liked, given the current state of the property, where there is still quite a bit of material on site that has not been cleaned up or otherwise disposed of.
All right, I guess we'll wait for the executive session next week to finish formulating our plan. I just, there are still a lot of people of our constituency it's like government moves so slow, but it can't just stop. I guess is my point, is like what's our next step, and let's get that step taken and get moving on. So thank you, I appreciate it. So with that.
Sure thing, yeah. Like I said, that was something I was working on yesterday. We also got the opening brief on the Leaf Properties case just at the end of last week, so that's going to be something I'm working on the next couple of weeks. I think our response is due just after the holidays, so we've got a couple of weeks here to kind of digest that. In large part, it's very similar to the first round of briefing, really, because the court didn't reach really the merits of the claims that were made the first time, and it was remanded. So probably it'll be pretty similar to what we filed the first time. But we're working on that. There's just a lot of writing going on right now. We've got a couple legal issues in child support cases that we're working on, more substantive motions on to try to clear up some problems people are having in their child support cases. I'd also be remiss not to say that Gus Maxwell, our assistant county attorney, was in court all last week on a big termination of parental rights trial that he did really well on. So that was great. We prevailed in that, and so that was a lot of work that went into that, and he did a really great job. He's got a couple more court appearances this week, and then there's a little bit of a lull. The court's got some other trials and things like that on its calendar. And I think those are really some of the major issues. Just, yesterday I was also on the phone quite a bit with the health department on some different issues, just providing them with some legal advice with the things they're dealing with. And then also just a little bit with administration too, trying to help them out on some different issues. But really the lion's share of what I'm going to be working on is the Leaf Properties response and then those other motions that I mentioned. Any questions on any of those issues?
No. Okay, Travis.
Commissioners, mine's going to be a little bit longer this week, mainly because we was at CCI and there was a lot going on. Monday morning attended the Association for Colorado County Administrators. I'll be representing the Western Region County Administrators. I believe there's 17 through the ACCA. During that session, I had some, thank you gentlemen for attending because I thought everybody got a lot out of the budgeting for hard economic times. During that conversation, there was a lot of discussion about fund balances and the use thereof. And granted, we have some fund balances, but understand that there's some fund balances that the county just cannot use, i.e. public health. They have a reserve. We can't touch that. So we talked about fund balances. Also discussed becoming self-sufficient as a county. We can't really rely on grants. There's a lot of intricacies with grants. Some things you don't want to get yourself involved in on certain grants. We talked about the average recession occurrences over, they typically occurred 10 to 15 years. We're starting to see some of that with the state budget right now and the overspending, 1.2 billion. They're trying to figure out how they're going to balance their budget next year. Also looking at our fees, I think we're looking pretty good at reevaluating our fees every 6 months to a year. And again, be very cautious about accepting grants because there's always some kind of, there's something that's going to bind you up later on down the road. Looking at our expenses, which we do, can't say enough about staff. They do a really good job looking at expenses. And then talked about if we have to do RIF plans, trying to address unfilled positions first before we have to go into a RIF plan. Let's see here. So that was.
Let me stop you for just a second there because there are a lot of counties in that meeting once we went into a Q&A, and there are a lot that are formulating their RIF plans right now, which is reduction in force. And specifically, it's because they don't have enough money to continue to pay what they've been paying. And with the reduction of what the state is doing to cure their budget, it will create some RIFs. At this point in time, we don't necessarily have any RIF plan for us because we've been very cautious on the people that we employ and how we do it. So I know we probably take some hits for that, but in reality, we're not laying anybody off either. Everybody is stable. So a lot of other counties have some big RIF plans that they're going to have to move forward with, and they're big.
So that was the morning session. Then attended the renewable energy. It's here. It's going to stay. It's just how we manage it. Had the opening general session. Governor Polis spoke. Attended a Medicaid, what's changing, what it really means locally. Then we had our district lunch meetings, and I'll let you gentlemen get into that and the discussions there. And then attended CARS, Road and Bridge Maintenance Roundtable discussion, and that was kind of interesting to listen to on how they use different grades of chips and wash versus screen versus how they plow snow and schedules, and it was really interesting. So that's about it. From staff, Commissioner Candelaria, congratulations on your Distinguished Service Award. Some
Thank
of
you.
us knew about it, but you didn't.
I did not. Thank you very much. Very humbled and totally unexpected, but gosh, it's yeah, very humbling to be recognized by your whole state association for the service that you put into that organization. And really, you know, thanking these two guys that sit next to me for allowing me to do the state stuff and to serve on those state boards. And there's a lot of commitment because I'm gone more than they are, so they're here kind of holding down the forefront while I'm gone. But I do thank you guys too. There's a lot that there's a lot to that, and staff and everybody else. I mean, just thank you wholeheartedly to everybody that really, that's an award that's to this entire county, not just to me, in my opinion. And I thank you all. Okay, Ms. Kim. Nothing? All right, Commissioner Copenhaver.
I attended most of those meetings at CCI. It's great to talk to other commissioners around the state to see what their problems are and how they're advancing with some of their problems. I think that you learn a lot from that interaction, more than people realize. Also attended the Wolf program that was put on last night. It was not very well attended, and I'm not sure if the communication didn't get out there for people to show up to it, but as far as excuse me, as far as ranchers showing up to that program they had, it was not very well attended. So maybe it's partially our communication or something as far as getting the word out there, because there should have been a lot more people there that's going to be impacted by these wolves coming in here. They went through some different things the Division of Wildlife did last night as far as what they can do and how they're going to move these into this region, because now they're coming down into the southwest region. They basically can't put them on anything but private ground or state-owned land when they turn them loose, but there's no restriction as to how far they can go on any of this property. There is the Southern Utes have basically told them they can't put them within 60 miles of their reservation over there, but there's no stopping them from coming on in there. I mean, that's just the way it is. They're trying to at least have one collared wolf in every one of these packs. Basically, they have 4 packs in the state right now. They're pushing right up close to 50 wolves in the state right now. That's what they're trying to get over, that number, to where they have an actual sustainable population they think that can grow from there. They got blocked from bringing any more wolves in from Canada, from out of the country. So they're trying to get some more out of eastern Washington or Oregon, one or the other, to come in, because Idaho and Montana and Wyoming told them no, they wouldn't let them have any. They couldn't get any from them. So basically that's the situation that it's in right now. But I think that people need to get educated on what's going to happen here, because they're going to move them into this part of the state, and they're turn them loose. So there's going to be a conflict. And how to address those conflicts, they talked about a lot of that last night, and people need to get aware of what they need to get done, because they need to do a assessment on your whole allotment and different stuff That way, whenever, if there is a conflict, they know where to go and whose allotment that is. And how to get, their response time, they claim, was within 4 hours right now. Is what they're claiming, that in 4 hours, they can respond to any kind of wolf attack. I can't imagine that's gonna work in a lot of areas that they're gonna be in when they get down in the Winnemanooch Wilderness and stuff like that, how they're gonna get to there in that much time. It just, yeah, I really have my doubts that that's gonna happen. Even on my own permit, I don't see that that's gonna happen. But that's what they were claiming last night, so we'll have to see what happens in the future, but I was surprised that there was not any more ranchers there than what there was at that deal last night. And maybe the word just didn't get out. I don't know. But it was in the paper, in the newspaper and stuff, and maybe just that many people are not taking the newspaper or whatever. But I was kind of surprised that we didn't get any more attendance than we had at that meeting last night. And that's all I got.
All right.
That's
I have a question to ask you. We border 3 other states, 2 tribes. What if one of those implanted wolves goes across one of those lines and kills something across those state lines? You may not be able to answer this, but what's the recourse of those states and those tribes?
I think that, yeah, legally, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I know that the Southern Utes told them with their Bruno Treaty or whatever it is with the state of Colorado that they have the hunting and fishing within so many miles of that reservation, and they've told them they don't want those wolves there.
Yeah.
But legally, I don't know. I don't know where they would stand as far as once they turn them things loose, because they're going to go wherever they want to go. They've already had one one lone female come clear down in by Pagosa.
Mm-hmm.
She actually died,
Yeah.
and they didn't have any results back as to what happened to her, or that's what they claimed last night, that they didn't know what exactly happened to her. But whenever they turn these others loose and there's actually a pack gets established in this whole area, there's gonna be conflicts. There's no doubt about it. And they had a report as to how many, like, if you have 3 incidents in a certain amount of time, they're gonna try to remove that wolf. But an incident is what happens within a 24-hour period. So if they come in and kill 10 sheep one night, that's just one incident.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these different things were things that they brought out last night as far as how as they judge whenever a wolf needs to be removed from an area and stuff, if there's conflict. But they went through a lot of that stuff last night as to what needed they were doing and how they were setting up their program through the whole state. They were talking about having riders and stuff to discourage them from I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of obviously going to cost the state of Colorado a lot of money, because every time there's a conflict and a death and they're having to pay for that, it's going to take a lot of money. And I know they passed a legislation where you could buy your wolf plate, and the money from that plate that you register your car actually goes into that fund to pay for conflicts.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to sell an awful lot of plates.
I don't know. They have sold quite a few of them,
Yeah.
as I understand. They have sold quite a few of them, as I understand. And it has a picture of a wolf coming like out of you can see that coming out of the trees and on this license plate. But how they got that passed to take that money from those registration fees and put it specifically into this program. Anyway, that's all beside the point, I guess, really.
You look at the monetary payouts they've been making, I don't think, like I said, you're gonna have to sell an awful lot of plates to cover that.
Well, and what they were what they were talking about last night too is, you, as far as your records, like if you have records of how much death loss you've had
Yeah.
over the last few years, and then if you do have conflict with them, then they're gonna try to make up for any above your normal death loss, basically, that's created if you actually can show that you have an actual attack and conflict. But and the big thing there is whenever they're attacking an animal, as long as every time that there's any kind of a bite wound or anything like that, when that animal's still alive, you're going to get a tremendous amount of bruising below the skin, as long as the heart's still beating.
Yeah.
Now, if something's already dead and they ate on it, you're not going to get any of that bruising. So that's how you have to prove that they were actually attacked when they were alive, is you've got to be able to show that bruising and damage to that animal to prove that. And it does. Anytime there's any kind of a bite wound, that's when that animal's alive, there's a tremendous amount of bruising below the skin, because that's what happens, just natural thing, because the heart's still pumping, and once you damage those vessels, that blood's just dispersing out under the skin and into the tissue. So it creates a real bruising effect to it. And that's what you have to prove. Basically, that's your proof that it was actually still alive when it got bit or attacked. Okay, and they, those are things that they kind of went over last night, stuff. But that's been the way it has been, even with the bear attacks and different things, because bears get into the cattle every once in a while, and then they're really bad about getting into the sheep, and killing a bunch of them. But a lot of times they will kill 10 or 12 a night. It's just, once they get into them, they get pretty aggressive about killing a bunch of them at a time. And a lot of times all they'll do is eat the milk bag off of them. And then they'll come back 3 or 4 days later after they're kind of disgusting and clean them up. But a lot of times when they first kill them, that's all they do is eat the milk bag off of them. Anyway, I've probably talked enough.
All right. All right, Commissioner Lindsay.
I don't think mine will be as long as Gerald's. Did go up to CCI, and I think one of the most interesting things that I found was when we went into the administrators the first day, and they were speaking about open records and open meetings, and we're doing a really good job. So kudos to all of you guys that are putting this on and keeping us straight. Appreciate it. You probably could have taught the class, but other than that, there was way back when they started a critical incident stress debriefing program, and now they've got a new program for EMTs and first responders to help them mentally and emotionally, that they're kicking off and trying to get members to. And I'm going to pass that along to the hospital guys. But I think what I took away most of all is meeting with the other counties. There's a lot of good ideas floating out there and a lot of frustrations that mirror what we have here. I mean, I've never seen the state this frustrated, and the commissioners in a position. And it's not just rural versus urban. They're all having problems. So it's gonna be a tough road for a while. And I have city council tonight,
Very good.
and I'm done.
And I'm going to echo just a little bit more onto that also, as far as meeting with all the other commissioners from around the state, a lot of big counties. Nobody, and I, to Mr. Mays' comment earlier, all the counties are on the same page right now. They cannot accept any more unfunded mandates or anything that's coming back from the state if they're not going to fund it. So when they're making these laws, they better figure out how to fund it. Otherwise, I know that I read a resolution yesterday, and I think it was from Teller County, that basically they are sending it back to the states with the statement of, these are just suggestions because if they're not funded, they can't actually enforce them. But the other thing on the side of that is the enforcement of it. How do you enforce everything that they've put out? You know, again, they're looking at a billion or $1.2 billion hole that they have to fill, and they're going to try and figure it out. And a lot of that we feel is going to end up trying to come back to the counties. And I will assure you that all 64 counties are going to fight that with everything that they have collectively together. And that's what gives CCI such a big voice. From the smallest county like Dolores County with a population of what, 2,000, or Hinsdale County of less than 1,000, all the way up to the big five. It's the same thing. It's just different, but it affects them equally. And then, you know, the budgeting in, I think it was budgeting in a recession or whatever you call it, Travis, but there's a lot of good information in there. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. A lot of people, I hate this word transparency because I think that we are more transparent than anybody and always have been. But that's just like a sword that people like to throw out there in the state that we are not transparent. And I would challenge you to say, when are we not transparent on anything? It's a little bit frustrating. Anyway, I'll stop with that. I did go to the Dolores meeting last night. There was a discussion on the sheriff's contract. They did move that forward. Obviously, we moved it forward today, and along with the other 4 items that we have. Again, we did appoint a board member for the Cortez Cemetery District, and I stated it yesterday. If you guys have any friends, family, anybody out there that want to serve on a board, we need people to serve on boards. I know that they're not fancy and they're not elaborate and they're not compensated, but this is part of your community. Please get involved with your community. A lot of these boards only meet once a month, but try to serve on a board. Pick something that interests you. There are a lot of boards out there that continually need help. So with that, I'll stop my rant and I am done.
Yeah, when it comes back, I will go back to enforcement. You remember when they took the plastic bags away and there was a charge for bags? Who's enforcing that? Have you guys, anybody seen the plastic bag police anywhere? I mean, and where is that money? I don't know where that money goes. So with that, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this December 9th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.